Now, today we received confirmation that the Boston bombing suspects were not done trying to hurt and kill innocent Americans. Their next target, we found out, was New York City. Now, here's Nanny Mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, revealing that disturbing news earlier today.
We were informed by the FBI that the surviving attacker revealed that New York City was next on their list of targets. He told the FBI apparently that he and his brother had intended to drive to New York and designate additional explosives in Times Square. They had built these additional explosives, and we know they had the capacity to carry out the attacks. The investments that we've made in counterterrorism operations, technology, and intelligence help reduce the possibility of a successful terrorist strike, but they certainly do not eliminate it. Nothing can do that. We don't know if we would have been able to stop the terrorists had they arrived here from Boston. We're just thankful that we didn't have to find out that answer.
Now, that's not all. New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly revealed that the second suspect was in fact photographed with his friends in Times Square in New York City last April, and that he was in the Big Apple again in November. And as we learn more about the suspect's intentions, one pressing question remains. What else? Were there other targets? Unfortunately, we may never know, because according to reports, the second suspect's interrogation, get this, it was shut down after only 16 hours. At that point, a judge and a representative from the U.S. Attorney's Office interrupted this important interrogation. Why? He had to get rid of his Miranda rights. And guess what? We're learning that immediately he stopped talking. But there's more disturbing details surrounding the suspects. According to the Boston Herald, Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick, quote, clamped down the lid yesterday on the Herald's request for details of the suspect number one's government benefits, citing the dead terror mastermind's, get this, right to privacy. Pretty unbelievable. Here with reaction, news editor for townhall.com, Fox News contributor, Katie Pavlich, also at Breitbart, right?
Town Hall, no.
Okay.
No Breitbart.
And I can't keep up with you. You're all over the place. And former advisor to Senator Prince Harry Reid, which you have my sympathy.
Thank you.
Penny, all right. We agree on Deval Patrick, I mean, on the right to privacy. What about the right to people to maintain their lives and their limbs and their legs?
Look, I think what these two individuals did was absolutely disgusting. And what they engaged in was a mastermind of terror. And I think that they should be punished accordingly. But I do agree with the governor in being able to deny a newspaper that right to privacy.
Wait a minute. Why?
Turning it over to the government.
No.
Turning it over to the government.
Penny,
until you know all the facts.
Until Americans, we're going to learn everything about you.
I understand. And I actually, for once in my life, agree with George Will and what he wrote in the Washington Post, that we have to tread carefully. I know I'm not going to be the most popular person here tonight.
You're not popular.
Trying to defend the civil liberties, but the one that is still alive was a U.S. citizen and is afforded certain rights.
Hang on a second. Hang on. You support Mirandizing. So that means this guy might know about foreign sources of money, foreign influence, future attacks. We already have the guilt or innocence is now, it's not an issue. Wait a minute. So we're going to shut down any interrogation of this guy, and that means whatever attacks are on the books, they go forward. You can live with that?
No, I can live with the fact that they allowed him to be interrogated. They allowed him to be interrogated, and that once the public interest was on the decline, as far as him being an enemy combatant, that we will be able to still determine and find the necessary information to put this man away. I absolutely believe that.
On the welfare aspect of Governor Patrick shutting that down in the sake of privacy, right? I think that everyone on welfare should be public information because we're paying for it, especially when it comes to terrorists. And the reason why he's doing this in the name of privacy isn't because of privacy.
CYA.
It's because
the left is never willing to admit that all of these systems fail. Their systems fail, whether it's the welfare system, the immigration system, the education system. Any of that has failed when it comes to jihadists coming to this country, whether it's the 9/11 bombers or these guys in Massachusetts. They will not admit that their systems fail.
That is outrageous to me. But the fact that we don't make this guy talk means we are putting Americans' lives in jeopardy. And I am sick and tired of this notion that he deserves his Miranda rights when he may have information that Americans' lives are in jeopardy.
He had his Miranda rights in existence.
Okay.
The day he was arrested, he had his Miranda rights.
But here's
that was never denied or taken away.
We can still interrogate him. He can file for habeas. He can get it in 30 days. But if he has knowledge of a pending attack, don't we as citizens also have the right not to have our legs blown off or our children killed?
Absolutely, and that is what they will be going on to do, and they will be able to try to, and they will go to work to try to find that determination. And I agree that that first part was critical, as we saw that he was
He shut down.
There are rules and there are constitutions.
Rules. Listen, you know what? There's no rules when you're at war. This is the difference. If you think this is criminal or if you think that it's an act of war. I think it's an act of war.
It is an act of war, and we've been hearing from the administration that these types of cases have been prosecuted successfully in civilian court. Well, would you want to go back to the Galani case of the bombing in Kenya when they only got him on one count?
We have a brilliant 12-year-old intern, Andy, here tonight. He could prosecute these two and find them guilty.
This idea that we need to be treating these as criminal cases instead of at-war cases has been a problem since the Obama administration came in. And we've seen the CIA get prosecuted further for waterboarding and getting information that we needed to prevent these attacks.
That's how we got bin Laden.
Exactly. While the administration doesn't want us to do that now, they're willing to give this guy his Miranda rights, shut down. You have the right to remain silent. And guess what? We don't have.
But wait a minute. Anything he says could not be used.
That's not true.
But
that is not true. That is not true. While he was in the hospital, anything that he said during that time can be used and will be used. Sean.
It is very likely that we have to assume that a judge would throw that out.
Hang on a second.
Wait a second. But we don't need that information for the criminal trial. But in the meantime, American cities are potential targets, and we discovered New York City, Times Square, one of the most heavily populated areas in New York City, that was their next target.
And you found that while he was offered his Miranda.
Well, we saw that he had 4 other bombs.
I believe in our law enforcement that we have. I believe in the law enforcement that we have.
You are driving me up a wall.
No, I mean, look, we have a law enforcement that was able to find him.
They didn't find him. A civilian called in.
No,
the cops did not find him. Let's make that clear.
Yes,
they got up.
Katie,
they did their big press conference. They all patted each other on the back for 10 minutes. And guess what? They were still minutes away. A civilian called in and said, there's a guy in my boat. Well, 9,000 cops missed him. All due respect to the police officers, but it was a civilian calling in the tip.
CIA was warned.
They all missed him,
the Russians
and then they missed him on the day.
We got some big problems.
The police were not the ones who found them. It was a civilian calling in the tip. But back to the issue of the systems. Look, this was a guy. Both of these bombers were part of a family who was claiming refuge when they were going back and forth between one of the most radical areas of Russia, and the system failed because they didn't check up on it. It's an issue of system failure and refusal to acknowledge this is an Islamic problem and following up on those.
I'm giving you the last word because I agree with you, and she's making me angry.
Okay.
That's why. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you both. Just kidding, Penny.